Anything to go by, then we're in for something of a drama here. Remember Suzuka? It all went very, very wrong for so many towards the end of the race. We hope for a smooth start here. We've got 82 laps ahead of us, 303 kilometers in all. And what a race in prospect. Very warm welcome to you to Okayama. My name's Carlton Kirby, standing in for Mark Cole, who's otherwise engaged today. But well, when it comes to Super GT, we know we're in for a treat. Full lineup and, well, some interesting happenings, I should say, during qualification. There was all kinds of problems, mainly caused, I suppose, because of the weather just foxing so many. Out there, well, today they have got wet tyres ready and waiting for the vehicles. So far, it's just overcast, but it is warm, an awful lot warmer than it has been in qualifying. Opening qualifying saw around 12 Celsius. It's up to 18 and the track temperature hovering around 25. On pole, it's the Takata Dome NSX of Michigami and Tokahishi Kogure. You may remember they had an engine fire while running second in Suzuka. They will lead off the 500s. Next to them, the Arta NSX. Ralph Furman taking the first stint. Don't forget that Daisuke Ito was leading in Suzuka, and a late-on engine problem meant they cruised round, in fact, off the track at the end, and it all went horribly wrong, leaving victory to the Zent Tsurumo victors in Suzuka, the number 38 car, and they will be starting back on row 4. There's the course for you, and if you just happen to be wondering, this course used to be a private course, and the first sort of international meeting that was ever run here involved an awful lot of British drivers, which is part of the reason why many of the turns are named after the Brits. For instance, the Moss S, the Atwood Curve, the, just having a look down, Piper Corner, Redmond Corner, Hobbs Corner, Mike Knight Corner, and of course the last corner. We're just looking down at turn number 4, which is the Atwood Curve, and then away they go. It does rise and fall here in Okayama. It's a wonderful course. Used to be private, as we say, and they have had a couple of Grand Prix here, which we'll talk about in just a moment. For now, though, let's get back to the grid. It'll be the Takata Dome NSX, number 18, that will lead us off ahead of yet another NSX, having a great start to the season, Honda. They share the first row, effectively. Then it's the Husan Toms Lexus SC430 leading off row 2, along with the Epson NSX. Third home it was in Suzuka, and of course the weight disadvantage that's lumped onto those cars. It's been a great drive by Fabio Carboni and Loic Duval, perhaps in particular, who will start the drive today. They are in front of the Raybrig NSX. Suffered a crash in Suzuka. The sponge barriers were really being tested last time out. Top of the tree, well, it seems that weight handicaps don't seem to make much difference in the 300 class. The Privé Kenzo Asset Scheiden is our leader. They were second home in Suzuka. Race winner there starts in 5th place, the Endless Advan, with Masayami Kageyama taking the opening stint. Leading off row 2 here, behind the Toy Story, or behind Kenzo, is the Wilcom Advan. And we're ready to go. Rolling start as ever, and it'll be 500s first with a 30-second gap back to the 300s. Waiting for the green light, and they've got it, and it's the race down to the first curve. You've got to take it nice and slowly because it's a right-hander, a kind of a lazy right-hander. Big lock up there. Oh, and contact, and already contact straight out of it. Oh, what an absolute nightmare out in front. Well, what can you say? It's the number 18, our pole sitter, Takata Dome NSX, and Michigami just clipped there, it seems. And who was to blame? Well, I think it was the Husan Toms SC430. We'll have another look at it, that's for sure. But what a nightmare start. Well, it goes from bad to worse. They were running second, of course, out in Suzuka, and all of a sudden they find themselves tipped out of this one as well. The race continues down into the remainder of the curves on the first lap, and, well, here they come down into the Atwood Curve. A lovely dip it is, then a rise and a fall back down. Later on, in fact, it's 6 and 7 through Revolver and Piper Corner before they eventually head through into Curve 8 Redmond, down into 9 through Hobbs, Mike Knight Corner, and then onto the last corner that we have. Well, drama here in Okinawa. Who'd have thought right the way at the beginning that, well, Suzuka's drama at the end could carry on here. Well, it certainly has. It's an absolute nightmare start for the Takata Dome NSX that was on pole here. Well, they'll be licking their wounds coming back into it, but the crowds, well, as you can see, as ever, more than enthusiastic. It's number 8, Arta NSX, that's leading at the moment, ahead of the Husan. Then comes the 100 machine, ahead of the Motul Z, number 22. And we continue to spool back, looking a long, long way. The Calzonic down in 10th place at the moment. While stringing out and into the 300 class, and it's the Privé Scheiden. Who else that leads us out there? The Scheiden, so often mistaken, it seems, particularly by the Toy Story car, for one of the larger 500 vehicles. And in fact, it was an elementary error by Kazuya Oshima that actually let the Scheiden through at Suzuka, and eventually they were to take second place, you may remember. So there is our leader, absolutely no doubt about it. Arta NSX. Ralph Furman, the man in control. Victor in Sepang, and was heading for victory as well, you may remember, in Suzuka. Late engine problems just denying them. And almost a heartbreaker as the 22 car Motul Autotech Z goes through. Michael Crum in control of that one. Plenty of European interest throughout the field here as Yanavi Nismo Z also carrying the 4.5 litre V8. The rest of the Nissan Zs will be coming up to the same spec later on. They had electrical trouble, you may remember, last time out. Just the odd niggle. Hopefully they've sorted that one out. And Richard Lyons on board, the man from Northern Ireland. Missed a lot of the 2006 season. Tried to get rides elsewhere. Thankfully he's back here and racing and loving it. The number 23 machine carrying a 30 kilo ballast penalty after finishing second in the 500 class last time around. Well, when you look at these NSXs, you get the feeling that it's a shame that they're being kind of phased out. Still very much alive and racing here. 8 of them indeed taking part in this season. And look at this big lockup here on the inside. There's the nudge. And will it be a drive-through penalty for the Hosan Toms SC430? Well, it was definitely a clip. And but was it the fault of the encroaching car? Well, we shall have to wait and see. The lap's starting to spin down, and there is the 18 car down in 18th place. And just about the last place on earth he wants to be, behind Kenashi's Real NSX. There he is. Well, it's an awful climb here to get back. It's a very, very tight circuit, and a lot of people saying it's a bit too twisty to give yourself any opportunity to pass. Well, I suspect that the GT boys, who love a bit of rubbing during their racing, will prove as otherwise. And as if by magic they do, and a lovely little switch through there. Great battles going on here. Lexus versus Nissan in this instance. Super job. Keeping it nice and tidy, the Bandai Dunlop SC430. It's Peter Dumbreck on board there. Had a victory last year, of course, did Peter. Terrific driver. Spent some time with DTM, and when the Opals just decided to pull out, sadly Peter didn't get a drive in the DTM and went over after a short while with Modus TV, of course. He was in the commentary booth for some of the DTM season that followed his absence. And then, of course, went over to Japan just to sort of check out whether everything was running okay. And indeed, they gave him a drive, and he's been there ever since. Picked up more Japanese than he did ever German when he was racing in DTM, that's for sure. Well, the 8 car still happy and out in front. They look so well set, don't they, the NSXs? And I think in particular they really love this kind of circuit. There was a few twists at Suzuka as well, but when it comes to Okayama, they really do seem to pick their way through. There is the Scheiden that caused so much trouble and confusion, it seems, for the 101 Toy Story car. Late on, with about 6 laps to go, it was basically a passing manoeuvre. Thought it was a 500, and the Toy Story Toyota MS just let it go. It does look like a bigger class of vehicle, but it does race in the 300s. Wonderful, wonderful countryside. Not quite as spring-like as Suzuka, but it is warm enough, that's for sure. Welcome back to Okayama, and I can tell you it is indeed a drive-through penalty that's being issued here to the Huzan Toms. Andre Lotterer on board, and hardly surprising if you saw the start of this one. Just got into the back of the Katade Dome NSX, and it was the end of that race for the man on pole. Number 18, way down at the moment, and you can just see some of the split times, the differences between the class leaders here. It is very, very tight up front. Little drift, just attempting to get some sort of draft here. Can't quite make it through the 100 car. Raybrick NSX crashed out at Suzuka. Great rebuilding job at the front end here, and keeping tremendous pressure up on the number 1 car. There's no need for it at all, because the number 1 will be coming in for that drive-through penalty. Take it whenever you want, of course. The Arta NSX is out front. It's the battle for second place that is occupying our minds at the moment. There is the Red Rig 100 car. Dominic Schweger on board with Shinya Hosokawa about to take over, when indeed it comes down to the first switchover. 1 compulsory pit stop. Absolutely no reason to take any more than that. We have seen, though, a couple of the vehicles deciding just to go with the 2 wheels. And here, the loading on the front of the car is such, because of the chops and dives of Okayama, you never know, you might well see front wheels being changed. They're just drifting by here. The Ford GT40 had massive rear end damage in Suzuka, and the lead cars picking their way through the 300 class. It really does add a tremendous element to GT racing when there are different classes. And of course, endurance racing is very much part of Motors TV these days. Incidentally, if you want to keep in touch with endurance news, sports car racing throughout the world, don't forget Daily Sportscar. We'll try that again. DailySportscar.com. They really do provide a fabulous service. It's not only for the bigger races like Le Mans, which of course Motors TV will be covering 24 hours a day, right the way through the race itself, and of course bringing you the full 5 days of the event itself, including all the qualifying. Nowhere else will you be able to find such coverage. In fact, it had never happened before until last year. Such was the response. We're doing it again. Yes, whether it's American Le Mans Series or GT racing at its very best, you know where to find it. It's right here. So the Arta NSX still staying in touch here. The Huzan Toms. SC430 also trying to chase down, but will have to stop the Huzan. For now, though, it's the 8 car, the Arta. Well, something of an advantage perhaps to them coming here, of course, is that they're carrying an awful lot less in terms of weight handicap as the 22 car goes past the Motul Z with Michael Crum on board. They're carrying an awful lot less of a weight disadvantage, having that late engine problem out in Suzuka. Don't forget there is a penalty for victory, It's 50 kilos as well. It's not a small amount of weight, and it can go up to as high as 120 kilos. That's effectively carrying a very, very large passenger, such as myself, as a penalty. And believe me, you wouldn't want me on board your race car. And look at this. In the 300 class, the Scheiden. It looks such a beautiful car. Just eating in to the laps here, and ahead of the Toy Story car now by just clear of a second. This was positions 2 and 3 for much of the final run-through in Suzuka. But Toy Story was leading after they came out of the pits. And a real shame it was for them. The APR MRS vehicle just mistook the Scheiden as it let through one of the 500 cars for that class of vehicle, and it was a real embarrassment, and the drive-through penalty has finally been issued down at the pits. They're now calling him in, and well, we knew from our timing screens that the penalty was being considered and indeed issued, and now the driver is being told in no uncertain terms it's time to come in. They've looked at the replays again and again and again. No surprise to us, he definitely clipped the man on pole. Roy Michigashi. Well, they've had all kinds of ill fortune, the number 18 NSX. It's Suzuka engine fire for them, don't forget. And here is that start incident once again. You can see the 18 car, the green car, center of your screen, holding line beautifully, comes where you'd expect it to. Little nudge from Andre Lotterer in the Lexus, and round it went. And Yuichi Wakisaka waiting for Lotterer to bring the car in. He won't be stopping though. It'll be a drive-through penalty at pit lane penalty speed, same as all speeds on the pit lane, much reduced. And of course, if he dares to overshoot that, he'll be coming straight back in again. We saw a number of pit lane speed violations last race in Suzuka. And they were called back aplenty to do a drive-through penalty, so there's no gain at all by getting it wrong. Here comes, straight in, shedding speed, and it'll be a long and uncomfortable run-through with a lot of wagging fingers, particularly from the pit box for the Takate Dome NSX. Through they go. Huzan Tom's SC430. It's their drive-through penalty. And away they go. Andre Lotterer on board, Wakisaka wholly unimpressed, and there's absolutely no need for it. In a race of this length, 82 laps, why on earth do you want to try and win it right at the first corner? A little bit of damage, as you can see as well, a bit of tape flailing off. Probably very, very indicative of the unfamiliar racing line he was actually taking through there. He's been pushing very, very hard though. Under threat from the Arta NSX, which is well and truly in the lead out there, the number 8 car. I'm just trying to see if there's any other damaged bodywork that may be of concern to the race marshals, because believe me, they will bring them in. And there, that view again of the GT40. Really does look like 40 inches off the ground as well, that roof line. Tremendous looking car. Although I have to say I prefer the originals from the late 60s. So getting it down good and hard here out front. There is our leader, the 8 car, the Arta NSX. Well, they were leading in Suzuka. That engine problems broke so many hearts. Honda, of course, no longer make this vehicle. Mentioned that to you earlier, but it's still such a good balance of car that they just cannot help themselves bar keep it out there. And why on earth else would you not? If that's English. And there is the 300 class for you, still racing hard, doing everything right out there, it seems. They had their own incidents, you have to say that as well. More on that in a moment. A little bit of contact, and well, if it ain't rubbing, it ain't racing. And to get by here at Okayama, you really do have to work hard to move through the field. Tremendous stuff. Bruising time out there, and it's all part of it. Eclipse Advent SC430, 25 car. Running in 7th place. It's a Rideau on board. Oh, and the warnings are coming thick and fast out there. So much contact, and you've got to be careful as well. Fluids on the course. And this is the warning disc for that little bit of flapping tape, as you saw. And we are hearing that there is indeed a problem towards the exit of the pit lane. We'll find out more on that in a moment. Arta NSX, number 8, in a very, very comfortable position. Early days in this one, and just look at the time gaps that are starting to tell themselves here. That's a country mile at this stage, and the Raybrig 100 car nearest to. And it's been attended to. It's couldn't be allowed to carry on like that. And the 6 car, the Forum Engineering machine, called in. Bjorn Verdheim on board. Well, quite often you think that the television cameras are the ones that do teams no favours whatsoever. It didn't appear to be that threatening, but well, clearly in GT racing they're not interested in any kind of loose body work, and it was clearly from contact earlier on. Rather confusingly, you do see similar, very, very similar shaped cars in both classes. Of course, the Nissans, the Zeds, race in both the 300 horsepower and the 500 horsepower class. And so I suppose you could give an excuse to those who mistake one class of vehicle for another. They certainly love their flashing lights, you have to say, as the 32 machine, the Epson NSX with Loic Duval on board, Fabio Carboni sharing that truly international flavour to it. And look how tight it is in the 300s. They really have been posting so many more changes, it seems. Oh, it's so competitive. Look at this. Lovely dive on the inside and positions locked out. Look at that, train of vehicles. 3 places almost lost. It is now just out of sight. And it just goes to show you dare not get it wrong at all. Toyotas, Scheidens, VMAX, Porsches, Imprezas, Ford GTs. It's an amazing, amazing mix out there within the subclass. And lo and behold, in amongst them is the 18 car, still trying to battle his way through here. Started on pole. What on earth must be going through the mind of Michigami? Where has all the luck gone? Well, this gaggle of cars here, they're racing their own race, don't forget, and don't want to be overly concerned about a vehicle that's effectively lost its own. And it's the 25 Gallardo RG3 that's in the way at the moment. The Lamborghini 6-litre V12, beautiful rumble as it comes by past the crowds here. He's got by it this time, but he's got so many more to pass in front. And they're bullying him. He wants through, and he's now finally got a little bit of clear road, but as a result, well, I just hope he doesn't pick up any kind of penalty for that little, well, was the contact. Okayama, drama-filled, as we told you earlier. It really has been a thriller, and we're looking now at the back of the 62. Let's have a look. As the Takada Dome came through, had nothing to do with it, but a little clip on the rear, sending it just, well, damage as well. So there you have it. You heard it here for the Wilcom Advan VMAC C408. It's a 62 car, and it's Kurosawa on board. That's Shibahara waiting to take over, and well, damaged rear, but will anybody be blamed? Big ask. Well, the Arta NSX number 8 car, that's our leader, and just so comfortable out there as well. No problems whatsoever. Driving it home. Will he make it all the way? If there are engine problems, that would be thinking about that all the way. You can believe that. Ralph Furman will be taking over. In fact, Ralph is on board. It'll be Daisuke Ito who will bring it home a little bit later on after the change. And it's an awful long way back to the 100 car, the Raybrig machine. Dom Schrager on board there. Still being chased down by the Motul Autotech Z, the Nissan machine. 4.5 litre V8s for the Nismo outfits. And in they come for a little bit of attention to the 62 car. Now, they're going to take their pit stop here. Oh, no! It's a spinner, and it's the 43 car, the Arta Garaya. Well, that's a shame. Going backwards into the gravel, absolutely beached at the moment, and well, should get back in, and hopefully tidily done. Oh, but look at that. That's a direct result of the rejoining of the 43 car. Well, Takagi could well have had to wait a little bit there for the others to actually just get out of the way. I'm not sure whether he thought he had in as much grip as he actually did. He had far less grip than he thought, perhaps, and that's why the Garaya went through, and I wonder whether he'll get a drive-through penalty for that, because he certainly disturbed the race of those coming through behind him. Well, it's all go here in the 300 class, of which Garaya started 4th on the grid. Takagi, the 43 car, way down now, a little bit of a tumble. It'd been holding on to position, probably now in around about 12th spot within the 300 class, and a nightmare for them as well. Well, it's all go here. Okayama, wonderful course, actually built for gentlemen drivers. It was a private sporting club that had been created by a Japanese owner of a golf club empire. When you have a golf club empire, well, you can in Japan. The price of joining is quite often, they say, 10 years salary for a lot of people. And the waiting lists are nearly a lifetime as well. So how do you get in? I suspect you have to be a pal of the guy who owns it. Golf in Japan, absolutely massive sport. Motorsport as well, equally so. You can always tell that by the crowds that turn up. And there, the Scheiden, number 2, out there, and our class leader at the moment. Super story from them. Second in Suzuka. Behind race winner, the number 13 car, the Endless Advan. And what a story it was when Toy Story just said, after you, and through they went. Well, they're chasing him down now. Toy Story number 101. They were locked together, these two, last time out in Suzuka, and it's the same now at Okayama. Yes, the track finally did get some dispensation to race or have run Formula One, and I can tell you 2 races were run here, and both of them were won by Michael Schumacher, who does love a little bit of unstable conditions. I think one of those races was in the wet. Bennett and Renault, first time out, Bennett Ford, I should say, first time out in 1994, when Michael won, and then he won the following year for Bennett and Renault. Haven't been run again, Formula One here since then. It was just deemed to be a little bit too tight and demanding. So Pole likes to flag victories in the offing, although Michael did manage to pick his way through on at least one of those occasions. So there we have it, the 500s. Its positions locked for the time being as far as the top 5 are concerned. It's been like this since the opening lap disaster, and if you're just joining us, it really was a disaster for the Pulsar, the Takate Dome NSX, the number 1 car with Ryo Michigami on board. And we've got a slow car here. It's the 23 machine coming off 5th place, running off to the side, and it's clearly troubles for 23. And that's a real shame for them. They were looking so good. And we're hearing it's the ugly head of electrics being reared again, and Satoshi Motoyama it is. Well, it's a real shame for them. Richard Lyons, who was waiting to get in that car, looks like he may have a long, long wait. We'll see if they manage to limp back, but positions being shed by the second here. And the 4.5 litre V8 Zanvavi Nismo Z pulled up on the corner here. Safe anyway, but local flags waving everyone by. So back they come past the grandstands, and the 23 car is going absolutely nowhere fast here, it seems. And I wonder whether Richard Lyons is going to get a drive at all. Well, if it does prove to be electrical failure, they've had their problems, and all of a sudden it's gone pop big time. Second place, of course, at Suzuka for Richard Lyons, and Motoyama in that car behind the Zent Tsurumo Lexus. And the local yellows while everyone gets clear here. Well, the terrific thing about Super GT, of course, is that there's so much ballast that gets placed upon these vehicles if you have any kind of success, that really you have to think about rebuilding your challenge. And Michigami and Kogure, after being second and then losing out to the engine fire, were looking so good here, qualified so quickly with some of the other main contenders who'd done so well at Suzuka, sort of pushed back because of their weight handicap, if you like. The winner of that race starting 8th, the second place, the Zanvi Nismo, who've just seen with the electrical problems, starting back on row 6. And so as a result, it really gives a chance. If you do win one, you're hardly likely to win the next one due to your weight penalty. So it's a real curate's egg, if you like. You've got to think so long and hard about how you're going to build a challenge here. And the 100 car is leading the rest at the moment, trying to chase down the NXS at number 8. Just taking a look at the Motul Autotech Z. Michael Crum on board. And back at Team HQ, the Nismo boys. Just the one car, the one V8 left out there, and it is the 22 now. 23 sister car out for now. Well, it's a packed bunch out in front. And there, our lead order for now. 25 car getting back into the frame as well in this one. The Eclipse Advan Lexus SC30. The Toms number 1 just behind, and that's not a bad retrieval of the position. 6th place now for the car that had to do a drive-through. Oh, and the Lambo's gone straight on here. And that's a real shame. The 88. Will it get out? Well, the 66 and the 88, a couple of them out there, and a real shame for them. So the Lamborghinis straight on and into the padded barriers here. And we saw those tested a number of times as our leader just keeps on winding in. He's passing one of the Porsches. GT3 Cup races, 8 of them involved in this race. And Porsche, of course, the old 911s as they were, and still are to many. Still recognisable, that shape. It's been such a long development over the years for Porsche. Rear engine there may be, but they've smoothed out any kind of problems that might have offered, and it really is turnkey competition. If ever you want to join in, then why not? So the pit stops may well be starting fairly shortly. Lovely bronze-looking Lamborghini there, still very much involved in the race here. And what a choice everyone has if you did want to take part in this sort of sport yourself and you happen to have the money. Oh, look at this, just as the leader comes through, and well, you have to say that well, it's certainly getting our co-commentators very excited here. 3 wide as they came down the start-finish line there, and luckily no kind of incident as a result, but the 8 car, the Arta NSX, in the hands of Ralph Furman, giving absolutely no quarter here. Ito waiting to take over this car, but Furman, he's out there and he means business, and you better beware if you're even thinking about holding him up for a moment. If there is any contact, incidentally, you have to be so careful picking your way through the lesser series, hence the flashing lights. If there is any contact, it is the bigger car that gets the penalty here, so they usually give a lot of respect to the minor cars, but when you're chasing and you're involved in a race such as this with the Raybig NSX, the 100 car, then you really do have to have your wits about you. You need to keep up the speed, but you also need to doff your cap, if you like, to the lesser cars on the grid. It's the same in endurance racing. It's the bigger capacity that's at fault if it comes through and gets into contact. Unless, of course, there's something absolutely silly about the lower cars' manoeuvres. Well, what a course we've got here. I hope you're enjoying Okayama. It really is tremendous, and a great crowd yet again here. 30,000 at Suzuka, a similar number have turned out here. They really love their racing, and it's almost open access down in the pits as well. You can really get close to your stars, and star racing we've got at Okayama, that's for sure. Look at it, amazing. Welcome back, and the 8 car just keeps on plying its trade, and look at that, 3.5 seconds or more advantage right now. And this looks like a dream run, while all about them were losing their heads. The Arta NSX, the 8 car, kept theirs, and Ralph Furman, the man who won in Sepang last year, well, he's just doing a great job. He's keeping it nice and steady and picking his way, almost threading the needle as he comes into the 300 class, leading the 500s now, and it's by such a healthy margin. And look at that, sub 1.5 minutes round this track. That's fast under race trim, most definitely. It's terrific work by Ralph. He's doing a great job. What a lovely course, dipping and diving as it does, and well, there's so many great names remembered here as well. After the first corner, you're straight into Williams, a sort of a long, lazy left-hander. Then it's the Moss S's down to the Atwood curve. Then there's the hairpin and revolver up to Piper, round Redman and Hobbs, and then Mike Knight corner, which introduces you to the final turn onto the start-finish straight. It's a very quick course if you happen to be alone. If you happen to be in a packed field like this one, it can be an absolute torture. Here they come across the start-finish line once again, and there a look at 1 and 2. And if you count any point, just get yourself a little marker if you like. You'll see that that gap is being maintained here. The Arta NSX going nowhere except home as far as they're concerned. Home for victory, I should say. Well, you dare not speak too quickly in Super GT racing. It's the fastest GT series there is on the planet, and they're really trying to keep the European interest alive, and I know a lot of you out there really love this form of racing. And when it comes to GT, well, you got an absolute treat going on here, and this is the battle for 7th. The Zent car leading the pack. Well, its position's locked, you might think, in the 500s, but when it comes to the 300s, well, they're chopping and changing all the time, it seems. The 38 car just being chased down and hampered by the remainder. It's a big ask, and look at this, a huge line of them coming through. And in fact, do forgive me, the Zent Karumo SC430, of course, in the 500s and in the mix with a whole group. I thought for a moment it was one of the 430s further down in the other bracket, but there you go, just shows what I know. And there he is, 35 car weaving all around and being denied it here, it seems. The Bandai Dunlop machine with Dunlop rubber on there and keeping it absolutely foot sure in the battle, it seems. Confirmation of the way they're standing for now. Tremendous battle raging out there. And look at the splits that we've got going on here. Calzonic Z just down and out of it for the time being. Hoshino, always capable. Wearing Bridgestones out there and a lovely move down on the inside. Real mixing it up here. Well, about the third of the way through this race, and it just goes to show it never ever stops here. And Takada NSX is up to 11th place now. That's our pole car, don't forget. And look at this, he wants more as well. Well, up to 11th place he may well be, but it could well have been victory here if Michigami hadn't been punted at the end. And it's time for changeover, and that's Takashi Kogure who's waiting to take over. So it's time for changes. What will they do? How many tyres will it be? What's the balance out there? Has the track taken its toll on the front tyres? And look at this, how wide they are. There's probably 6 options leading in here, and just almost taking the nose off the Z. The Lexus holds position here. This is great racing. It's what it's all about. It's what we love about it, the Calzonic Impulse Z with Hoshino still in the mix there, the blue car. Super, super racing. And the Denso Sard Lexus had that early crash in Suzuka, hoping for a better run here. Started 13th on the grid, and an awful lot of flashing going down here. It's the Takata Dome NSX that really starting to show frustration here. And if he's not careful, he's going to tag somebody else and get his own drive-through penalty. He himself got tagged right at the beginning of this race, and it was the #1 Hosan Toms SC430 that was to blame, which is why I pulsed it there. The green car is stuck down in P11, I think it is at the moment, but it's been a great, great rise up through the rankings here. 35 car ahead of him, and the Calzonic Z making another move there. Super, super job. Through they come, and the crowd are being thrilled here. They've got a real battle on their hands, and you may well think, well, race done for this car. Not a bit of it. They want a piece of the action, and they're fighting their way and picking their way through the field ever so gingerly, but with great purpose as well. And it's absolutely superb to see that that kind of will is out there. The 38 Zent car is in front of them. The winner's in Suzuka. It's Takagi on board. He's a wily old fox, and he's carrying maximum 50 kilos of penalty. And you would think that the 18 car would have absolutely no problem whatsoever. No weight handicap at all on the 18. And so, a bit like carrying, what, a 10-year-old child, would that be right? About 50 kilos? As a passenger, well, the red car in front of the green, right here, center of your screen right now. They're P10 and 11 in the 500 class, but the Dome NSX was the one that was on pole, and it cannot get by here. There he is in 11th spot, chasing down the Bandai. Has he got him this time? He's a lighter machine. Oh, he backs out as well, thinks twice about it, says no, thank you very much. Knew the racing line belonged to the other driver. Round they come against one of the 300 class Nissans, who just gives them plenty of room. In fact, gets himself a little bit of a dirty tyre at the moment, and both of them come in together. This is the battle for 10th place, and they're home and coming in right now. So, first stop to the 38 car is then to Chirimo SC430. So important where they berth in here. And we'll keep a very, very close eye on the 18 as well. They need a very, very good stop. They're going for fuel straight away. They're not touching the back wheels, are they? You can't touch anything except the driver. He can change over if the fuel is going in. Then you've got to wait for tyres. It looks like there's no tyres ready for the front, so they're just going to change the rears here. Let's have a look. Up on the jacks, and it's rear change only, I think. Well, it just shows what we know, and already the Lexus gets underway. That was a super stop by them. Absolutely brilliant. Tsurumo, the 38 car, has gone. 26.1 seconds for them. Back tyres only for the Takati Dome NSX. Well, they're going to have to watch out and see what happens to their front end. It could well cause them some kind of understeer problem towards the end here. Front end grip going to be absolutely vital at Okayama. Well, we suspected it may well be tyres changed the other way here because of the jinks and dives, but not a bit of it. They know their vehicle better than we do. Will they bring it home? And the whole field is starting to think about it now. The pit stops are beginning here. Well, the battle for 10th between the Dentsu Sard SC430, the number 39 car, and the Bandai Dunlop as well, with Peter Dumbreck, the 35 car there, having a tremendous time of things as well. So some of the leaders starting to make their pit stops now. I wonder when our actual race leader, the 8 car, Ralph Furman, will make his move. Well, it was a terrible stop for the Takati Dome NSX. I just wonder whether they had a little look or had a problem at the back because of being tagged early on. You never know. It's the first visit back to the pits for them. There's our race leader, the number 8 Arta NSX, and in comes the 22 car. It's the Motul Ortec Z, the 4.5 litre V8 Nismo run machine, and it was Michael Crum handing over to Sugito Matsuda out there. The 17 car is off as well, the Real NSX. Kaneshi handing over to his cousin Katsutomo, handing on to Toshihiro. Quick work up front, and well, those front tyres, the ones we expected to be the main focus, definitely changed here on the 22 car. 5th place in Suzuka, hoping for better this time. They were there on row 3 at the start. Where will it be at the end? It's a big ass. Calsonic Impulse Z there for you, one of the smaller engined Nissans. They'll all be up to the same 4.5 litre V8 strength. It's a 3.5 litre V6 at the moment that they've got, and through over the start finish line comes the number 8, and still flashing. He's got a light fuel load, don't forget, passing one of the Subarus that didn't actually manage to finish in Suzuka. Let's hope they managed to go all the way this time. One of the 300 class Subarus, I beg your pardon, in Suzuka, they had their problems. The little 4-cylinder 2-litre turbo, same car that they use in WRC, of course, and all other kinds of racing. And the Raybrig car, has it got some problems? Doing a driver change here. I think that's just simply making a meal of it. And up they go. Rear's going on now, and again it seems no front end. Well, a huge surprise. You picked the bones out of that one. The Motul Autotech Z did change the fronts, and everyone else seems to be giving it a miss. The Raybrig NSX comes out. Now then, he's got a job to do. He was in traffic, and we still await our leader here. Still have to pit the Arta NSX, and here he comes now, pitting off the lead. Here comes Ralph Furman. Ralph will be handing over to Daisuke Ito in just a few moments' time. There's the line. He's got to get down to speed, and does so. We'll see if any of them get drive-through penalties for avoidable overspeeding in the pit lane. And here he comes, ready to get onto his marks, and does so. He's a long, long way down, about 7 pit boxes from the end. Out comes Ralph. And in goes Daisuke Ito. The Japanese is on board now. Well, he admitted before getting in, suffering from great nerves after engine problems late on last time around when they should have won in Suzuka. What will they do this time? It's very busy out there. There's a lot of camera crew in what appear to be dangerous positions here. You should really be tucked in. The last thing you want is to nick somebody who's walking backwards trying to get the best shot, and away he goes. Well, it is a very, very safe series, of course. Super GT. And our leader has come out. Scheiden goes by him. Don't worry about that. Leader of the subclass, the 300 class. More racing in a moment from Okayama. So everyone's in, more or less, from the GT500 as they were the leaders. The Eclipse Lexus still has to make its stop, but the Arta, the number 8 car, has already done that, you'll be pleased to know. So it will all spin out in a wee while once the 25 car comes in. It's Manabu Orido who is on board, and as if by magic, Eclipse finally makes the run for the pits. It's a dead giveaway when the leaders start pitting. I know you can take your publicity shots of the leaderboard when you're out there, and front wheels straight away are changed, then they'll get on the fuel before they do the back wheels. It's nice and relaxed out there. They don't try and do everything all at once. The driver change going on as we speak with the 22 car, but there once again is our leader, wearing the number 8 and wearing it with pride. Absolutely super. Number 8, lucky number, of course, in many, many countries, including Japan, and the 24 car coming in as well to complete its work out there. Done a good job as well. The Woodon Advan Clarion Z crashed out at Suzuka, you may remember, and De Oliveira on board with Seiichi Ara. And there is our leader. Well, what a nice day at the office. There's nothing a driver likes more than a quiet one, as it were, quiet but effective. Number 8 again out in front, and I can tell you that the lead is, well, what is it, around about the 8-second mark, so clearly, and this is the battle for 3rd place out there, so no rest at all. Battle for 2nd place, I should say. That's the Raybrick NXS 100 being absolutely pushed to the limit here. So suddenly we've got a battle for 2nd place, and it's between a brace of NSXs. Fabulous cars. Really close to the top of my wish list. Never quite scraped the money together to get hold of one of these wonderful machines, and it's the 32 Epson NSX that finished 3rd in Suzuka. That is all over the back of the Raybrick for now, and this could well be a bit of a treat for us. Look at that, side by side, and then just having to do their own jinking work. This is post pit stops, and this is P2. This is for position 2. Battle for 2nd, and I fancy that this might well be our only battle, provided, of course, that the Arta NSX in the hands of Ito now doesn't get into any kind of trouble further up the field. In fact, you don't get much further up the field because this is the battle for 2nd place. It's the leader, naturally enough. So super fight going on here, raging away as it does. 34 lap mark, the leader came in. 82 laps to be completed here. So you do the maths. We're approaching the halfway mark here in this race. Fabio Carboni, the 32 car, also completed, came in off 4th position and came out very, very quickly, which is why we've got this position right now. 22 car left it a long time, the Motul Autotech. Michael Krum hanging over to Sugio Matsuda, and confirmation of Ps 3 and 4, and there is the 22 car, and you can see the gaps as well that are starting to shape up out there. Well, if you get your pit stop wrong, it really does cost you an awful lot, it seems. And there is our run order here. the Motul Z, 9.9 seconds down. So in fact, only half a second trailing now, the 32 car. But it must have been a dastardly stop. I think they went for 4 tyres. Maybe that's the reason why it's, you know, can pose you a penalty, but you never know. It may well play into their hands a little bit later on. The Huzan Toms SC430, what a story for them. They were the ones that got the drive-through penalty right at the beginning for tagging the Takane Dome. I haven't made a note as to whether that #1 car has stopped, but I suspect it has, and it's up to 5th place now, which is an amazing climb. Oh, look at this down on the inside. He wants a piece of him. The 22 wants that 4th spot, that 3rd spot, I should say. Has a look, has the door slammed in his face here. Well, this is great racing. Absolutely brilliant. The Motul Z, number 22. And big lockups as well. Huge load of smoke from the 100 car, who's also feeling the pressure out there. The Raybrick NSX. This is great racing. We're loving this. The Epson car being battered. The back door is being knocked on by Matsuda. Well, clearly a quicker car at the moment. Better grip starting to come in. Maybe that's the case. They changed 4 tyres, don't forget, and all of a sudden they're playing with the field here, and maybe that is the reason. And look at the gaps that are coming up here. Got to be so careful that you don't cause an accident, especially with some of the slower vehicles involved here. And the Ford GT is just enjoying itself as well. Much tidier run than it was last time out at Suzuka. Well, this wonderful Okayama track, you have to say, it's set in the mountains. When they did run Formula 1 here all those years ago, the local authorities really, as you can see, the trees are everywhere. They took their time. They sat on their hands, if you like, about the crowds, and they had to be bussed in from 20 miles away. They didn't want to know anything about any kind. The Toy Story car comes in, anything about congestion. And look at this battle here. The 22 wants a way through and can't find it. The Nissan being held up by a pair of NSXs, and the Toy Story car has come in. Toy Story's in for his stop here. Well, I hope to goodness that they do well here, the Toy Story outfit, because they really would deserve some luck at least after their, well, schoolboy error last time around, where they let the Scheiden by thinking it was a member of the bigger class, and it wasn't. All of them get safely by the Subaru there across the start-finish line. This is 2, 3 and 4. Positions 2, 3 and 4, all having a look at each other, and this is fabulous racing. Can you imagine? So deep into an event of GT racing. Who says it's not close? Look at this, goes one way, then the other. Will he get the cutback on the inside? He's just lost ground, just dabbed the brake, and once again, huge defensive maneuver there from the 32 car. Has he got in this time? Not a bit of it. The 22 still having a go here. Lovely to see Nissan versus Honda. Better grip on the red car because they changed 4 tyres, don't forget. And look at this, the 100 car just wants out of the situation, flashing everybody, moving past one of the Lambos, says, thank you very much, just kindly clear the track. We want to come through here. We're frightened and we want some space. Well, super run. If you're only just joining us, you missed a dramatic start to this one at Okayama. Private track as was for many years for gentlemen racers to come here into the foothills of western central Japan. Amazing greenery, interrupted perhaps by the wonderful rumble of GT racing. There's the line, and still the Arta number 8 still leads, but this is where the battle comes. And look at that, positions 2, 3 and 4 just flash up in an instant on your screen as they cross the timing line here. Fantastic. 45 laps in of 82. We're well over the halfway mark, and I think the cameras are going to just stay with this battle because I cannot see it ending here. It's everyone else out of the way, please. The 500 class absolutely enthralling us. As far as the 300 class is concerned, Toy Story has come in off its pit stop. They and Privé Kenzo, the number 2 car, having a great time out there. So is the 26 machine, the Porsche Yuka Power Taizan machine of Yamachi and Taniguchi. And we will catch up with them as well. Still in the frame, the 87 RG1 and the Boxster of Green Tech machine, Kurosawa and Mitsusada, also in the frame in the 300s. I'm sorry we haven't dwelt on them too much, but that's essentially because this battle here is keeping the Japanese film teams absolutely enthralled, and why not? It's the scrap for second place, it seems. Tremendous stuff at Okayama. Lights ablaze. Out of the way, please. And the Subaru does exactly that. And look at this down. He's got him on the inside, perhaps. They're side by side. Oh, he's pushing him towards the blend line. That's dangerous stuff. That's very dangerous stuff. But he held his line, held rock solid. But did he move over and force him towards the wall? Well, you ask yourselves that question. But it appeared to me that that was a little bit of dangerous driving there from the Epson NSX. The 32 car looked a bit cheeky. Let's have a look. Now, is he driving him towards the wall here? I think he thought about it. That didn't look like an acceptable line to me at all. And the 22 car in the hands of Sugio Matsuda, not happy at all in the 22 machine. And once again, he settles his nerves and tries to rebuild some kind of challenge here. Well, if he had any nerves, they've not been frayed. Look at him. He wants a piece of it. He wants this, and he knows it's within his grasp to actually take it. Talk about grasp the nettle. It's a scorpion out there, and he's not afraid at all. The red car wants it, and almost contact again. Near contact again and again, it seems. Oh, this is lovely, lovely stuff. Well, Okayama is absolutely being thrilled here. And there's a gap being opened up as the Raybrig NSX starts to pull away, as these two just have a go at each other. Out of the way, they say. We're coming through, and there's a battle royal going on here. 0.08 of a second only separating them. Where will it end? At Okayama. We'll be back with more after this. And it goes on. It's absolutely relentless here. They cannot separate these two, and it depends on your mindset. The other cars are just having to get out of the way, and he's having another look. He's going down the outside. He's going to switch, surely. He's going the long way round. He's going too far round, surely. He was trying to hold position to get the next curve set up for him, but it didn't quite happen. And they've backed off, and there's 2 car lengths between them. But the car with the better grip surely has to be the 22. They changed 4 tyres, don't forget. And look at the pressure that's mounting on the 32 car. Oh dear. Fabio Carboni it is on board the 32, and he's flashing anyone who's prepared to listen to him effectively. If they've got their wing mirrors on or their rear view mirrors, it's absolutely full of lightning, it seems, because he's flashing everyone to get out of the way. He wants a clear run through, and look at this, he's gone wide again. So far wide. Here's the switchback. Has he got him on the outside? Surely. He's got all the grip. It's a long way round this one. Oh, he's holding position. Holding. Bodywork and contact again. And the Epson NSX holds position. He's losing out front end grip absolutely every single lap here. He only changed 2 tyres. I think it was the back was a big lock up there, and that is always a red rag to the Red Bull car here. They want a piece of this. The Red Bull car? The red car. Red Bull's got nothing to do with their sponsorship. Getting so excited here. The 22 car. Oh, he's had to back out again. This is great racing at Okayama. Who says you can't pass at this track? You certainly can, but it takes amazing nerve. Amazing nerve, and he's got plenty of reserves of that on board. Well, hats off to Sugio Matsuda. Oh, straight in and off the side. Well, we're going to see an awful lot more of that. You can be sure. Absolutely, you can be sure of that. Beached for the time being. It's the 4 car, the VMAC 350R. He's lost it all on his lonesome. I don't know, didn't see whether he got help there or any kind of suspension damage. Just trying to look at the state of the wheels, and it looks like he's going nowhere. He's going to get dragged out of this one, surely. And he doesn't want any kind of pickup there. He's got no grip. He's going nowhere for now. Time for a break for him. Meanwhile, back at this battle here for 3rd place. Absolutely tremendous. It's just backed off a little bit for now, but the 22 car, He wants it. He really is up for this one. He's He's driven a line in the sand here, and he wants that podium position. And believe me, he's going to take it before long. He's using the 300 car as a foil here. He's got a good run on him. Very, very late on the brakes. It's Honda versus Nissan, and you've got to fancy the Nissan here to get the spot. It's an awful long way still remaining here, but this battle is absolutely enthralling. They've let the 100 car off into second place now, effectively. This is the scrap for third, and will it be with some kind of conclusion here before the end? I do hope that this story is not already told. Across they come, the start-finish line. There are our two leaders, and then third and fourth, the cars that concern us here. Half a second. Well, I don't think that timing's right. It cannot be right. That was not half a second gap between those two. Surely on the start and finish straight. Maybe it was the foreshortening of the camera. I do not know. And away they go once again out into the countryside here of Okayama. Wonderful, wonderful spring day, and the rain, which we thought may well interrupt us here, interrupt proceedings, hasn't actually shown. They've got wet tyres ready. They haven't needed them, and the weather forecast is actually brightening here. You can start to see some shadows underneath the cars. The sun's starting to burn off some of the haze, and look at this, the familiar story. Hit the flash button and get those boys from the 300 class out of your way. That's what he wants, a tidy run through. Thing is, when you have got a slower vehicle from a lower class ahead of you, they know all of a sudden that you are there. You need to alert them as much as you possibly can. And look at this. Oh, this is it. This is it. He's got him down the inside. Oh, superb move. Absolutely brilliant. Bided his time. Is he going to lose it on the switchback? No, he's not. And I expect this gap now will be extended. Look at this. Look at this. Away he goes. Thank you very much. Job done. All hats off. Tip to the Mosley, and he's away now. Well, he just had to wait his time there, bide his time, and he did so. That was superb racing. Well executed. He had more grip, fair enough, but he clearly had the power. And in the end, there was absolutely nothing the 32 Epson machine NSX could do about it. Nismo coming through, thank you very much. And he's got 4.5 litre V8 to play with. And all of a sudden, the sound of that engine will be so sweet to that man. Look at him. That's how much he was being held up. He's just zipping his way through the field here. No problems whatsoever. And Peter Dumbreck looks rueful. As well he might. Peter Dumbreck, great guy, incidentally. He was from part of the Bandai team, 35 car, the SC430 Lexus. And look at this battle for minor positions as the number 2 car, Scheiden. Do forgive me, having a little cough. And the Scheiden still in control of this one. Looks like it should be not only in the lower class, but it should be in a class of its own, this vehicle. It certainly is today. They just can't get anywhere close to it. Absolutely brilliant class leader, and coming in for its stop. Been a while, we've had to wait for the 300 cars to excuse me, begin thinking about taking a break, and the Kenzo sponsored machine comes in, so presumably they're well suited as well as well booted. Here he comes in onto his mark. Same rule as the 500s, and the fuel goes in straight away. And that's an odd one. It doesn't actually. They've changed the front wheels. They're just holding off, taking the covers off, waiting for the fuel to go. The drivers are being changed, and double fueling either side here. Twin tanks. Well, it should be rapid fueling as a result of it. An amazing looking car, this. I think you're probably going to see an awful lot more of it. Very front end. Looks like a sort of a miniature Bentley. Fronts were already done before fueling. Fronts, fuels and rears. They want all the rubber out there. Had a nice comfortable advantage, and they will carry this one back onto the track here. 33.5 seconds, not the quickest of stops, but sort of over 30 seconds really indicates that they changed all the tyres, and there's a problem for the car behind. Not off the jacks, it was dragging away its own jacks there, and the Toy Story car goes into the lead here. Super job by the 101. Well, I'm sorry to bore you with that story from Suzuka between the Toy Story Toyota MRS and the Privé Kenzo Scheiden. But what a story it would be if they could reverse positions this time. Well, not only reversing positions, of course. They're in Ps 1 and 2 for now. And in fact, do forgive me, there it is. There is our leader, and he's managed to hold on to position here. Toy Story car, who'd made an earlier stop, in second place. Well, a lovely battle royal raging on here. Do forgive me, I just had to take a cough break and have a drink. Getting a little bit hoarse here. How does Mark Cole do it? I do not know. Fabulous racing in Super GT. And look at this. One of the cars that they've actually unlapping himself. He's got a lighter fuel load, don't forget. And look at this. Suddenly the Scheiden slowed down and Toy Story is coming round the outside. Has he got him? Oh, that was beautifully done. And if there was a little bit of sleepy-mindedness in Suzuka, it's been repeated here, but it's been repeated the other way round. That was fantastic work by the 101. Absolutely superb. That was brilliant. Look at this. The one of the lap cars really played an evil role there. The Scheiden tried to go on the inside and all of a sudden just hit the curbs, and a momentary lapse there, and Toy Story came through. Oh, fabulous, fabulous racing. And meanwhile, the battle of a second rages on here, and guess who is causing the troubles yet again? It's the 22 car. He's now thinking about second place here, and who knows, by the end of this one, he may well be thinking about victory. And the man he's pressurizing is flashing those lights. He's got him on the inside here. So much more grip. Well, it just goes to show you. It just goes to show. 4 tyres may well mean a slower stop. But if you think you can make up 10 seconds, then absolutely go for it, because you've got fresher rubber out there and you're just going to eat in the opposition. And that's exactly what he's done. That was brilliant stuff. And he just can't stop driving like this. Amazing. Well, what a race we've got on our hands here. And what power they've got on board now, the Nissans. 4.5 litre V8. And he used every single bit of that right here. Super balance and poise. And it seems that the new power unit, coupled with their Bridgestone tyres on this occasion, has done the Motul Autotech Z every kind of favour. Solidly into second place now. Will they bring it home? It's a big ask. We'll have the answer for you in a wee while. Stay with us here at Okayama. Great racing. They're chopping and changing out there. It's great racing. Super, super stuff. We can't quite believe it. And the leader, well, he's getting into traffic here. There is the leader. And these are, for now, at least, the also-rans, perhaps. There's the 22 car in second place. Meanwhile, in third, it's the Raybrig NSX, the 100 car, and wounds are being licked here. Fantastic stuff. Well, it's been great racing. We've said it before, we'll say it again, and well, you can scream it from the rooftops. Super GT, terrific, terrific stuff. And these cars, well, they're absolutely thrilling us here. I just wonder whether they'll give them an extended run, any of these guys, when it comes to Le Mans itself. Can't remember the full entry list. Haven't quite got it in my head yet, but don't forget, of course, Motors TV will be at Le Mans, where you'll be able to see many a GT car strutting its stuff amongst all of the mighty specials out there. And in the 300 class, it's Toy Story ahead of the Privé Scheiden. They're 1 and 2 for now. And it's closer than you might have thunk with the Junker Porsche number 26. Not that far away. It is starting to spread out just a little bit, though, is it not? Meanwhile, back at the business end of the 500s, there is our race order now, and the 22 Nissan has moved up a couple of places, and the split is now 8.2 seconds off the lead car, the Arta NSX, and we're looking at that car right now. He's been out there on his lonesome right from the beginning here, playing into his hands the Huzan Tom's SC430 Lexus, getting into the Takata Dome NSX right at the beginning, and just letting Ralph Furman in the first stint off the leash, and Ito was to take over. Well, a nice comfortable afternoon for them. Past the grandstand yet again, and anyone who happens to be a Honda NSX fan is waving a flag. So 10 laps remaining in this one, and well, an 8-second gap. You can't really see them doing anything wrong. They haven't done anything wrong so far, so it may well all come down to mechanicals or electrics out front. And it's about time. We did have indeed a look at our leader here. Well, they were leading as well in Suzuka, so imagine Daisuke Ito's mind out there will be full of all kinds of stories. There is the 4th place car now, and the Epson NSX surely in the hands of Carboni must be wondering what on earth hit them. Loic Duval did a great job in the first stint, but Carboni, well, he had a very late drive-through penalty, don't forget, in Suzuka, and it may well have been what compromised him. Over the rise they come. Lights yet again. Carboni on his first full season here. And enjoying himself, you can be sure of that. The Huzan Tom's car, they were the naughty boys, the bad boys at the beginning, tagged the number 18 Takata Dome NSX and got that drive-through penalty. And they're having a great run, you've got to say that, considering their problems. Running down in 5th place, that is an amazing drive for them. Don't forget they were down as low as 12th, I think they were at one point. So they've picked their way through. I think it was possibly even further back than that. Super job. And in the hands of Yuichi Wakisaka. Drive-through penalty did hamper them, but here they come up on the Scheiden. Now running in 10th place. Well, it's just clipped up 10 laps to go. That's for the 300 class as well. And there we have it. It's the battle for 4th. And the Huzan goes, or tries to chase down his arch enemy for the time being, which is the 32 NSX. And it's a rueful time for those who are now out of the car. Loic Duval, of course, from the Epson NSX, and Andre Lotterer in the Huzan machine. Great international flavour to not only the vehicles, plenty of them sold around the world, of course, so very familiar shapes for us, but of course, naturally enough, as well, the drivers, so familiar, some of them, from the worlds of F3, endurance racing, DTM, sports car racing. Fantastic stuff. It's a great mix and a real tribute to the Super GT that the Japan Series, as used to be, has suddenly really in its own mind gone very, very global. I wonder whether they'll go any further than Malaysia next year in terms of actually running events, because it really is starting to pick up. And well, Motors TV certainly, and all of you, Mark Cole refers to you as Rice fans. Well, I know that you love your racing as well and love your Super GT, and it's a real pleasure to be guesting here. I'm Carlton Kirby, of course, and thanks for your company if you've been with us right from the beginning. There is the 500s for you. 22 car just starting to be dropped by the 8 now, further 2 seconds behind. So it's now out to 10 seconds the gap, but well, all tribute, you have to say, to the Huzan Tom's Lexus 430 here in the hands of Wakisaka. He's done a great job. Andre Lotterer was the bad boy who got the penalty right at the beginning. But since the handover, the climb has been impressive, to say the least. And there's the man who's in his sights, the 32 car. is the Epson NSX, and it's Fabio Carboni who's taken over from Loic Duval in that vehicle, and it will be the battle for 4th spot. Unless something dramatic happens further up front, it's surely going to be the Arta NSX that takes the checkered. But then again, we said exactly the same thing in Suzuka, and all of a sudden late engine problems caused them difficulty. Lights ablaze, it's still very overcast. In fact, it's got more overcast yet again. Rain thankfully has held off here. We were expecting some, and it didn't quite happen. And there, the gap between 4th and 5th place, just 3.233 seconds. I suspect that gap is not really doable as the laps spin down here. We're heading to the finale. In 2nd place, it's the 22 car. The Raybrick NSX 100 hasn't given up the chase here at all. And I just wonder if the lesser series is going to hamper progress here, because the gap between these two has shortened dramatically, and all of a sudden we have got a retake situation perhaps on our hands. Let's have a look. Traffic much later on the brakes there, and I wonder if the handling of the Nissan has suddenly started to go away. The tyre advantage that they had by changing form, maybe it's ebbed here, I don't know. Well, there's still one car between them for now, but for how much longer? Super racing here, and this is where horsepower plays dividends. Auto flashlights going on here. He'll cut on the inside. He's telling the 300 class that he's coming through, and he's got some speed here. Still very gingerly picking their way through. Matsuda on the 22 car is keeping away. There he goes out of screen now, but this is a chase, most certainly. What to look forward to. We're going to take ourselves our final break, and then we'll be back with the run for home here at Okayama. It is the run for home right now here at Okayama, and this is where the battle royal is underway. An absolutely super test of strength. It's the battle for 2nd spot here. Out front is the 8 car, the Arta NSX, in the hands of Daisuke Ito after Ralph Furman got a great start. But all of a sudden, the 22 car here, running in 2nd place with a 4.5 litre V8, is in trouble here. And the man who's stalking him and is through the traffic is the 100 car, the Honda NSX, and it's getting quicker with the lighter fuel load. And all of a sudden, its understeer problems that they were complaining about down in the pits there have suddenly disappeared, and this car is coming into its own. What will be the uptake? How will this one end? Well, saying, get out of my way, I'm coming through, and they are now without a car between them. Well, we spoke too soon. All of a sudden, one of the 300 class Lexus gets there, and the 100 car dispatches it. The lights still flash. And through he comes, but, well, yet again, another subclass car, the 300 class, is between them. Don't really mean to do them down or any disrespect with 300 cars. In fact, I'm going to stop calling them subclass, because they are a fabulous race series all in themselves, albeit running parallel to this one, on the same track, same tarmac, same course, same difficulties. And look at this, now it's the 22 car that's worried. Oh, this is great racing. The Nissan goes on the inside. Oh, big lockup, and he's done a straight on. Oh, and he's lost position. That was a huge error there. Oh, that's a nightmare for the 22. And if he's not careful, he's going to lose out another spot here. Oh, dearie me. Straight on it. And that was a big lockup at exactly the wrong time. Oh, dear. Maybe the heavier engine. And suddenly back at the Raybrick guys, who in the 100 car, that is, the NSX, of a feeling that they have now been given a birthday present. Let's have a look at this. And they were. Here he comes. Big lockup from the 22, almost in contact with the turning Lexus. And there, straight through goes the 100 car. Absolutely brilliant. The Raybrick NSX, they had their crash at Suzuka. They're wanting a bit more this time around. And I tell you, they're in the second spot position at the moment. ARTA NSX is our leader. The 100 Raybrick NSX that's been trying so hard. The Epson NSX is running in 4th place for now, the 32 car. And the 22, after so much good work, after passing the 32 car and the 100 to get itself into 2nd place, now finds itself still in a podium position. But there is the car that surely is going to bring this one home. 77 laps completed out of 82. 4 laps next time by. And what a race it's been for ARTA NSX. It's hardly been a race at all. They haven't had to work that hard, you may think. But believe me, when you've got no one to measure yourself against, it is so, so difficult to just maintain your poise and your position, your focus out there, and that's exactly what they've done. First with Ralph Furman, and then with Daisuke Ito, but Ito will not be counting any chickens at the moment, because at Suzuka it all went terribly wrong right at the end, and he knows that anything can happen. They expected victory then, they won't get it this time, or they didn't get it that time, but they may well this time if everything can just go their way, and we hope that it can. The 300 class, what a class it's been as well. Super racing there. The 2 car, the Scheiden, they swap positions. It's Toy Story out in front for now, but the Scheiden is being pushed by the Taycan Porsche here. Taniguchi is your man, and he's capable of closing any kind of gap. They're running around about 5 seconds a lap slower than the 500 class. But the Scheiden, well, he made a mistake, and the Toy Story MRS came through to take advantage. They'll be licking their wounds. They surely must have thought that they got victory, but you have to say, the Toy Story machine must have had so much of an advantage, because the gap, where is the Toy Story car? An awful long way away. The gap between the position 2 and 3, there it is for you, 3.7 seconds, and powered by Juncker. There they are. These GT3 cars, these Cup cars, absolutely fabulous. Still with that sort of tearful lights arrangement up front. Change for the latest models, of course, next time by. The Scheiden, well, should have wrapped it up, just couldn't, and you have to say Toy Story had the better of them up front and have made it count. 3 laps remaining then, and Daisuke Ito on board surely has to now at least allow himself some kind of belief here. Honda's development of this car continues, even though the production of the road car has come to a halt. Such is the balance of these vehicles. It goes all the way back to development from Ayrton Senna, don't forget, the NSX. Yes, if you can still find one out there, he was the man who actually polished this vehicle, took it out there and made it his own. It's the road car that Senna wanted. So, a great history behind it. Coming to the end of its reign now, perhaps, but I'm sure, like the McLarens that were out there, the GT cars, they kept going long after they became unavailable as production cars for the road. After production stopped, I should say. And there is the class leader, Toy Story 101. Now, what a story this would be, you have to say. The 101 on board would be the youngest driver pairing, not pairing, but Kazuya Oshima, 19 years of age. He did the first stint. Ishiura, it is Hiroaki Ishiura, who's taken over for the second run for home. But Oshima would be the youngest ever winner of a Japanese GT Series race. 15 years it's been going, don't forget, so quite an achievement, you've got to say, by the young man. He's playing spectator now. That was P1, this is Ps 2 and 3 in the 300 class. The time is running out for any kind of change, and it looks like saving any kind of mechanical problems or gross stupidity by anybody, we've seen that before, then it's likely that they will be the finishing positions. And there, it's the battle between the 2 car, the Scheiden, and the Porsche, the Juncker Porsche. And I can't see the Porsche, despite its best efforts, and the fact that it looks absolutely stunning. Isn't it amazing how car colours just start to look better and better even though at one point you may well have thought they were awful. I used to hate gold cars, but now I quite like them. Same with white cars, bizarrely. Anyway, we've got racing going on here, and there is the race leader in the 500 class, and overall, naturally enough, it's the 8 car, the Arta NSX, and it's just a drive-in, surely, on this magnificent circuit. Through the woodlands, the spring air, a chill to it now, and the finish line is approaching. They're constantly going through, swinging their way around, and for the last time we follow our leader here down through the first corner, the long, lazy Williams, and then down towards the Moss S's. All of these corners named after the British and other European drivers who came here and gave the first international race at this, what was then a private racing track, Okayama, for gentlemen drivers. Fabulous. Well, he comes down towards hairpin corner here. Well, down indeed into Atwood Curve, I should say, and then it'll be the long back straight that he joins, jinking and diving as it does. Wonderful, wonderful arena. Round hairpin into Revolver, up through Piper, and then down into Redmond. Hobbs will beckon through Mike Knight, and then the final corner presenting itself. Here it comes. What a drive it has been. Start, finish straight, beckoning this car. They have been superb right the way throughout this race, and the checkered flag has never been more deserved. Absolutely brilliant. Arta NSX takes it. Absolutely superb. Ralph Furman and Daisuke Ito bringing it across the line. And from radio comms, you can hear the relief by these boys. Absolutely brilliant. The Raybrick NSX never gave up and comes home for second place. And a podium position as well. Could have been more, perhaps, for the Motel Autotech Z. Nissan might be thinking that they could have had a lot more here, but at least it stopped. The NSX is locking out the podium. So Nissan will join in the celebrations towards the end. The 32 Epson NSX of Loic Duval and Fabio Carboni will come home for fourth place, just off the podium, ahead of the one car, the Toms SC430. What a ride they had in the Lexus, having a drive-through penalty. And look at this, the Toy Story, telling its own story, the MRS Toyota here. Such ill fortune, a little bit of brain fade last time out, gave them second spot in the 300 class. Well, they've gone one better this time around. Absolutely superb. Toy Story will come round for victory here. Just got to bring it in ahead of the Scheiden Prevost Kenzo machine, the number 2 car. But the 101, well, it's been a great, great result for them. 300 class honours. Super job. There's the checkered flag in the 300 class. Great work by them. There's the Scheiden. Couldn't have been much closer in second place, ahead of the Junker Power Porsche GT3. Wow, what a race we've had here. Absolutely superb. You can't say more. Ito and Furman now leaders of the championship, adding these points to the opener, where they picked up 423 this time around. They lead Loic Duval and Fabio Carboni, who picked up 8 points this time by 5 points in the championship standings. Great result for them. In the 300s, well, the 101 car now takes over at the top of the standings. 37 points, 2 clear of the 2 car, the Scheiden. It's going to be a battle royal throughout the entire season for them, that's for sure. GT racing at its very best. My name's Carlton Kirby. Thank you so much for your company. Do hope you've enjoyed the coverage here. Standing in for Mark Cole this time around. He will be back next time out, when, of course, we'll be going to the Fuji Speedway for the first of 2 visits there. That's the 3rd round of 500-kilometer race. It's going to be a big one. It always is. Super GT at its very, very best. Faster racing, you'll be hard pushed to find. From now, though, from Okayama, it's bye-bye.
city and call out my name. I'm just one more traveler whose stories I